Hey everybody, Coop here. Today we are doing some Armored Core Let's Play content here together with Cleric. Armored Core. Cleric, how you doing today, man?
Doing well about yourself?
Yeah, doing good. So what I'm hoping to do today is basically just play through, at least for this episode of our thing, we're doing Pro and Noob. Obviously, Cleric has a lot longer history with Armored Core than I do. And what I'm hoping to do is make some guides here for people who are either hesitant and haven't played or gotten into the game at all yet, or are being filtered by it. That's kind of what we're doing today. Is we're going to play the first mission and we're going to kill the helicopter, and we're just going to talk about the fundamentals, the most bare bone fundamentals of Armored Core. For someone who has never touched a game like this before. Like, what's one of the big fundamental differences about this game, or something just really important to pay attention to?
The number one thing I'm going to give you is essentially pay attention to your verticals. This is number one. Actually, the entire intro level here, the entry point level, is designed to teach you verticality. It's verticality everywhere.
Yeah.
To get up to your first part of your objective, where's your objective? It's vertical. When you're shooting your first enemies, where you look, you're looking down from being vertical. Like 70% of your enemies that you go against in the city are going to be vertical. The main boss you hit at the end of this mission is vertical. So the game is trying to teach you to think upwards. That's what it's trying to do. And honestly, the quicker you can get in that mindset of thinking about verticality, the easier your life will be in this game.
That's actually, I found that very true. When I first started playing, the verticality was quite frustrating, to be honest. But I think as soon as you embrace that you are a flying mech that touches down occasionally, the better that this works out. I'm gonna take a sec to camp on this. I know a lot of people know about this, but especially if you're playing on PC, I just went into hard lock mode, and I played my entire first playthrough without using hard lock at all. Like, I mean literally, I played through the entire game. I beat every boss without ever using hard lock, because on mouse it's very easy to lose your hard lock. So when you're moving around and you're kind of trying to keep someone in the center of your vision, it's so easy to lose your hard lock. So this is my personal recommendation. You can tell me if you agree or not. I just recommend playing the game with controller if you have it. And if you don't, you kind of have to do something. I literally do this, by the way. If I really want to be hard locked, I pick up my mouse and I hold it upside down. That's not a joke. I literally do that. It's not ideal.
You're not the only person I know. You're not the only person I know who does the exact same thing. I understand.
Because I really like aiming when I'm in soft lock. I really like aiming with my mouse. But using mouse with hard lock feels really bad to me personally. So my suggestion is to use a controller.
Yeah, I think hard lock is very advantageous in controller. It works fine in mouse and keyboard too, but like you said, it's so easy to mess with a hard lock because of your mouse movement. So yeah, if you're going to hard lock, just either find a way to have your mouse turn your DPI all the way to nothing or something. I don't know. Don't move it on accident, like you said, pick it up. All right, so you got this first mission here. So obviously it teaches you about the multi-lock with the missiles, which is smart. Something that if you watch my playthroughs, I constantly don't do because I keep forgetting to hold the button down.
I almost never multi-lock as well.
So yeah, it will help you against the little guys. The little guys don't take much for damage. They die pretty quickly. So don't waste the ammo if you don't have to.
Sure. You know what? Why don't we take a quick sec to just like do a quick overview of our weapons that we've got. I think I've only got 3 weapons, right?
Yep, you got the 3. You got the standard rifle. I believe, actually, naming wise, it's been a while since I used that rifle. I think it's the Turner. And then you have your pulse blade on your left, and then you have the standard. It's the regular missile, or it's the what you call it? I think it's the O4s. It's not a regular name like you're used to hearing. It's like the BML G1P something. It's a series of letters and numbers. I'm not going to memorize that. I call it the starter missile. It's easier.
Nice. So we have all 3 damage types on our mech currently, right? There are 3 damage types in the game.
Correct. You have all 3.
So we have kinetic, we have energy, and we have explosive.
Yep. Which, funny enough, you can fire missiles without being locked on.
Yeah, I just did. And those are generally better against different types of enemies, right?
Correct. The little MTs don't seem to matter as much, but you'll see it coming up here pretty soon in the mission. It says, actually, Walter will tell you.
I was saying to Clary before we started filming that, like, I did not really get how to use quick boost correctly for a long part of this game. Do you want to give the people at home just a quick rundown of like a good way of using quick boost, or maybe just a good way of thinking about it? Because it's not like dodging in other FromSoft games.
No. So yeah, sorry. Those of you who are used to Souls games, no iframes here. If any part of an attack hits you, you will take damage. So the main thing with quick boost is look at it this way. So enemy MTs are not too different from ACs as far as how their lock-on works. You may notice the lock-on that you have, like your lock-on set as far as when it's highlighting enemies. They more or less work the same way. And what your quick boost does is that when someone moves really fast outside of your reticle has to catch up in order to be accurate to the hit. So if you're not properly centered in with your red, we'll call it red lock just for ease of understanding, or visual anyways. Right. Your red lock will try to catch up with it, and if it's not centered back on the target, you keep shooting your weapon, your shots are going to go wild. So what quick boost is really good at is essentially forcing that de-redded status from your lock. Oh, here, this is the part I was talking about here.
Right. So when so if we look at that center reticle, as we move our thing around, it's that reticle is off target, and it takes a sec to snap onto it, right?
Yep, and so what quick boost does for the enemy side is that it makes that lag behind and have to catch back up. So that's one of the single best parts of quick boost. Is obviously we jokingly call it the Pizza Hut indicator. So when a big shot's coming your way, that's definitely when we use your quick boost. Otherwise, honestly, your quick boost shouldn't be used that often unless you're looking to dodge enemies or get out of enemy fire. Right. Otherwise, you should be assault boosting for long distances. That's what it's for. So
is it more, to paraphrase a little bit, is it more accurate to say that quick boost is useful for forcing someone to miss you as opposed to dodging the actual shot?
Generally
does that make sense? So it's like, so the way that I connected this dot is I started thinking of it as pre-dodging. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It's almost that. Yeah, that's not a bad way of putting it, actually.
You want to so if we quick boost, what's happening, and if we quick boost right as they're shooting, they're going to shoot where we were. Right?
Correct.
Unless they have a really, really tight lock on.
Yep, if they have a tight lock on, then the shot will lead you properly and try to hit you. But if you quick boost before it has the chance to catch up or has a chance to move off when it starts firing, it'll completely miss.
Right. So, yeah, it's more... And with certain projectiles, if the projectile's actually slow enough, then you can, like, respond to it flying at you. So, like, certain missiles and stuff, you can kind of see them coming and then get out of the path of their flight, right? But here, let's listen to what Walter has to say about these guys. Looks like they've got shields. Good thing you've got a blade.
Yep.
So is this teaching us specifically that shields are good, that blades are good against shielded enemies?
Correct.
Or like people with this physical shield, or all shields, like energy shields?
Shields in general.
Just all shields. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So when we
now,
fight,
granted, energy shields are a little bit better, but shields in general, yes.
Okay. Blades are also a great punishment. Generally, melee weapons are great for punishment as well, right? When the enemy is staggered.
Yeah, the direct hit adjustment on them is insane.
That's a stat that we should pay attention to later, which is the direct hit adjustment stat. You can think of it, if you've played Elden Ring or other games like that, you can think of it as the crit stat. It basically just means what's the extra multiplier for hitting enemies while they're staggered. Yeah, I think so. Will it get into all of this here? But generally speaking, explosive weapons seem to be good against big, heavy enemies, right?
For the most part, yeah. The big, heavily armored ones, lots of explosive is pretty well. Now, granted, a lot of the explosive weapons do a fair bit of damage, which probably helps in and of itself. But yeah, like some of the bigger enemies, explosive does a lot. Unless they are like a pulse armored or like full shielded enemy, then you want your energy at that point. But even then, explosives don't do bad. So what's interesting about explosives versus other damage types? So your energy weapons and your kinetic weapons both have a ricochet level. So that's going to get into ranges or effective or ideal ranges when it comes to weapon types. They have a ricochet level. Explosives do not.
Interesting. So if they hit, they explode.
Correct. If they hit, they explode, and they explode for their full damage. There's no reduction outside of the actual defenses themselves. There is no ricochet for explosive weapons.
And that's true for missiles too?
Yep. Correct. Cool. That probably helps too, because I think some of the bosses just have insane defenses for some things, and if you're not just like in their face, basically, you're gonna get a lot of ricochets as part of the problem.
One other tip that I have for a lot of people is this game wants you to be airborne more. So if you want to stay in the air, the best way, again, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, the best way of staying airborne is by using your assault boost.
That is
correct. Which on keyboard is control. Like, because if you look, I'll just give a quick demonstration. If you fly straight up in the air, it chews through your energy bar there pretty quickly, and I believe the rate is literally half when we assault boost up in the air. Like, you get just as high for a lot less energy. So if you're finding that you're struggling to stay in the air, just use your assault boost more. Assault boost right up into the air. It's way more energy efficient. It's definitely the way to go. Using correct. Getting in the habit of assault boosting around, not just as getting around, but assault boosting in the fight, is a huge, like, those are your two big movement tools, is jumping, quick boosting, and assault boosting. And something that I've noticed a lot is that people tend to not use their assault boost when it's like very, very, very strong, and it's really good.
Well, it's very strong in multiple ways too, because do you know about all the benefits of assault boost outside just the efficiency of the movement?
I think someone was saying that you take reduced damage while you're assault boosting.
It's only a slight bit of reduced damage. The main thing is you take less stagger. You take less. You take less ACS damage. And little side note here, if you have a kinetic weapon like your rifle, for example, if you are assault boosting in and you shoot someone as you're assault boosting, your rifle does additional stagger and a slight bit more damage too. Oh,
that's cool. So it's incentivizing you to be aggressive. Okay, so we're gonna summon the helicopter here, the Great Filterer. What are some, just like off the top of your head, what are some good like pieces of advice to beat this boss? Just straight up. Given that we can't change our equipment, we don't know any of our stats, we can't really engage with anything. What do you got for me?
All right, two main things. Well, 2.5. So number one, stay under it as much as possible. And by under, I don't mean with its guns pointing at you. I mean stay under it to where its guns aren't pointing at you. So if you can stay under it and kind of in the back half of the helicopter, it can't do a whole lot to you. It keeps you pretty close. You can do a lot of pretty even damage and quick damage. And that leads you to number two, which is blade it as much as you humanly can. The blade is your friend for this whole fight. In fact, I mentioned to you earlier, I'm pretty sure if you lose this thing 6 or 7 times, the quick tip or the help tip it gives you is use your blade. It's very effective against shielded enemies. They actually mentioned that specifically. So So blade it as much as you can, and then like the 0.5, I'm gonna say is never stop firing. So the never stop firing is
fire off cooldown.
Yes, fire off cooldown. So essentially, you want to keep the stagger bar going. So the more you keep, even if you just point at it with your rifle, that'll keep the which we'll call the accumulative impact. That's a stat on your weapons too. That'll keep the accumulative impact keep going, so it doesn't reduce. Because if you stop firing at it, eventually the stagger bar will go down, which is not what you want. You want that stagger bar to go away, and then do it with a nice juicy blade hit and take like a quarter of its AP out. That's what you want.
So, correct me if I'm wrong again here. Rapid fire weapons like the rifle or let's say a Gatling gun or things like that, one of their main purposes is just keeping that stagger bar from going down.
I would agree. I think that's what they're designed for in general. Yes.
Right. So we're shooting it with missiles. We're going to hit it with our blade. And then we can use the fact that we have, 18 rounds of this gun to keep shooting it while the other two recharge, right? So we keep that stagger bar going.
Yep.
And then you can also think of that as your in and out sort of like momentum. So we're gonna assault boost at it, hit it with our blade, shoot it with our missiles. We're going to fall back down, regain our energy, and then keep the stagger up by shooting it with our rifle, right? And this is just like basically a metaphor for the entire game. You can apply that same logic to every weapon setup, every whatever, right? Like,
pretty much.
If we don't have a stagger, we want to keep hitting it with stuff so that we keep that we don't lose all that stagger that we've already achieved, right? Yeah, a big part of it is he has those big bazooka cannons that are underneath, and you've got to dodge those. We have to use quick boost to get out of the way of those things. But we don't even have to use quick boost, right? We can just move. If we can see the projectiles, they move pretty slowly, so we can actually make sure that we're just not in their path. So if you're on the ground, you always want to be in this. You don't want to be walking around, basically ever.
Nope. Always boosting, never walking.
I got myself staggered there.
Yeah, you're right in front of me where the guns are.
Oopsie.
You got charged by the accident?
Yep.
Yep, there you go.
And so, see, one of the mistakes that I made right there is that I didn't assault boost.
Assault boost. Yeah,
definitely should have assault boosted there. So we're going to use our assault boost to chase him. We want to stay under him.
Yep, right about there we want to be. Right where we at.
Yeah, so you see, he's shooting these tacks that are triggering our thing. Oh yeah, I keep whipping this. But because we're under him, so he's shooting at us, but he's gonna miss with all of them. We don't even need to
hit him in the back half. Yeah, he can't hit him. Yep.
Yeah, see, we can actually see those projectiles, so if we just move out of the way. Nice, we got the stagger with the rifle. And a big punish. Let's go.
And a big blade. Yep.
Definitely not the best performance of my life, but good enough to illustrate all the things we were talking about.
Yep. So you notice when you're on the back behind him in the back half, he couldn't hit you with squat. So, yeah, if you can maintain that position as much as possible. The main thing is he will boost out of it, which one you just need to assault boost and keep up with him as best you can. But yep, that's he can't shoot you, he can't kill you.
I would say the biggest mistake that I made in this fight I was not paying attention to my energy well enough.
Yep. You noticed too, you still have 4k AP and 2 heals left.
Yeah. But even just using that, like, so one of the logic pieces that like didn't really click for me was, again, it's like, this isn't Elden Ring where everything tends to just hit you no matter what your position is. If you're positioned in where the guns aren't facing you, they literally cannot shoot you. Right? Like, I think a great example of this is the Juggernaut boss fight at the top of on the wall mission.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll do that one next, actually. Okay, well, that was me, guys. That was me and Claire talking about how to not get filtered by the boss by the tutorial boss. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys, just helping you understand how AC is very, 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 very different from Souls-like titles. Yeah, thanks. Enjoy. Hit like and subscribe, all that stuff. See you next time.
Hello, mercenary. Consider clicking that like button and absolutely annihilating that subscribe button because the coop is based. Handler Walter, out.